I arrived here 19 years ago, and the ICU at that point was about 11 or 12 years old, and it was already out of date. There really weren't any spaces for family to stay over or to even fit in the room. The rooms were small. It couldn't accommodate the modern equipment that had to fit in. We frequently had to take turns as to whether the patient would get dialyzed and the machine would fit in the room, or how it would actually make everything function. So we had to build a new ICU, and we wanted an ICU that would last for 30 years. And we specifically emphasized building an ICU that was family friendly, that had space for people to stay over, that had a family zone. We wanted the space to be big enough that the nurses had all the room that they needed to work in. And we really wanted to make an ICU that had more of a soul. So we had big windows. We focused on making it a healing, warm place.
So we were so excited to have the opportunity to design and build a new ICU for this community. The end users, being both physicians, nurses, and even some of our ancillary departments, got involved with the design of the ICU right from the start. We were able to have our nurses visit ICUs in some other communities in the United States where they could go and see what was being used in other ICUs and have input as to what they thought would work. So there were several things that we looked at when designing the space that had the patient's loved ones in mind. Each ICU room has a family area that involves a sofa that can be pulled out into a sleep sofa for anyone who wishes to stay overnight with their loved one. It also can be a little bit removed from the bedside so that it allows the nurse to do what she needs to do at any given time, but the family can still be present. It's so important that families can be there and be with their loved one, see how things are going.
Being a community hospital, we have patients who have visualized the old unit as well as the new unit. And it's quite satisfactory to see their reaction when they enter the new unit. They are so complimentary of how big, how quiet, how well lit. They mention the artwork. They mention that their family members are able to have their own space.
We have 2 large family rooms. Each room can be divided into 2 by a sliding glass panel so that we could have meetings with different families still all in the same space. And it's meant to feel like a living room and make people feel comfortable.
So right now I'm sitting in one of my favorite places that are part of this new project in this new ICU. I'm in what we refer to as the Healing Garden or the Tranquility Garden. This area is located adjacent to the ICU, and we have the ability to allow families and at times patients, if appropriate, to come out here in order to get some fresh air, to see some natural flowers. We have volunteers who maintain this area. They use local flowers from things that grow well in this area at different times of the year. And it's just a beautiful outdoor space that can allow some fresh air and tranquility for anyone who's feeling like they need a little change of scenery and the ability to get outside for a while. So it really is a special place.
We're a community hospital with a 16-bed intensive care unit, and we have found it desirable to be able to partner with a tertiary care facility that can electronically monitor the intensive care unit at night. So each bed was monitored for an EICU environment. In our old patient rooms, the beds were really pushed up against the wall and they couldn't be moved. In these rooms, the beds are freely mobile in the middle of the room. We put in booms and lifts. The booms can move along with the patient bed so that the bed can be faced towards the foot wall looking at the television, but they can also be rotated 90 degrees so the patient can look out a large window, and many patients really enjoy having that view. When the bed moves, everything else in the room can move with it. The boom moves with it. They can still be visualized from the nursing area, and it works very well.
Each room in our newly designed ICU has their own lift attached to the booms, decreasing the strain on a nurse's back, also decreasing the amount of back injuries one would receive if we did not have those lifts. An amazing feature in each of the rooms as well is a call for help button where it's a computerized screen where you touch the button on the screen and I can call for any staff member to assist. Another feature that helps decrease staff injury is our IV pole system, where we can transfer multiple IVs, pumps from the boom to the bed or to a stretcher to assist with movement of a patient without injury.
We were very concerned about infection control issues. C. diff in particular was an organism that was difficult to eradicate. We wanted to put in surfaces that were easily cleaned. One of the things we had hoped to eliminate was the cubicle curtains. When we investigated, we found out that we could put in electrostatic glass that would become opaque with the flick of a switch, and that was really delightful. In addition to putting in the electrostatic glass, we have a laser system that will shoot UV lasers at bacteria to eliminate them, and that has also worked very well. It functions very nicely on the glass surface.
So prior to actually opening the building and moving patients into the new ICU, we had an open house for our community. And I remember the day of the open house arriving early to be ready to give tours. And when I pulled up to the hospital, I was amazed to see that there was already a line of people outside the door and into the parking lot waiting to come in and to see the new space. It was just such a wonderful testament to the enthusiasm that the community had for the ICU and for the entire project.